Hi, my name is Dr. John Douillard, and I want to talk to you today about adaptogenic herbs, herbs that help us adapt to stress. Many of us realize that we're under huge amounts of stress, and our immune system isn't as strong as it could be. We feel exhausted during the day. We wake up tired. We don't have the energy to go to sleep. These are usually results of excess stress. And as we go into the winter time, when we feel like we really need a strong immune system and need that vitality, some of us are going into that season run down already. So that's where adaptogenic herbs help. They help us adapt to stress, so the stress impacts us more like water off a duck's back. And maybe winter is such a hard time of the year because we're supposed to hibernate. Maybe not fully, but in the wintertime, the days are short and the nights are long. So generally, we live connected to the sun. And during the winter, we would get more rest, go to bed earlier. And in the summer, we would go to bed much later. So this is the time to rest and rejuvenate. Eat more proteins and fats, which are more harvested more naturally this time of the year. But most of us are busy with holidays, and we stress ourselves out even more in the winter. So that's the need for some adaptogenic herbs that help us cope with that stress. And of course, one of my all-time favorites that I use in the wintertime is an herb called ashwagandha. Ashwagandha means the strength or sweat of 10 horses, a powerful rejuvenative, one that's been shown to give energy in the morning to go run a marathon, but also give you the energy you need to sedate yourself and have a really good night's sleep. I think that's the classic measure of a good adaptogen because it helps you have energy and also can calm you down. It doesn't stimulate you so you feel wired for sound and of course then depleted or exhausted. So that's important. And ashwagandha also has this ability to regulate cortisol levels. We know that when we're under lots of stress, cortisol levels seem to skyrocket, and ashwagandha has been shown to regulate cortisol levels to healthy highs and healthy lows. So that's really, really important. One herb to definitely consider, during the winter. I give that to my family as support for them when they're doing sleepovers or getting stressed out. This is one herb that's really high on my list. The other adaptogen I love is an herb called Chayavan-prash. Chayavan-prash is an herbal paste with lots of herbal support. That is one of the most powerful adaptogens. It helps rebuild the nervous system. It builds the blood. It gives the body lots of stamina and energy. It's made from amalaki. Amalaki is one of those herbs. It's a fruit, really, that supports the health of the skin of the intestinal tract, the skin on the outside of your body, the skin of your respiratory tract, the skin that lines your arteries. And when you think about the skin of your respiratory tract, you immediately think of your immune response to colds and things like that. So you really want to have healthy skin from that perspective. And that's what Chayavan-prash does. It builds the health of your skin, which is your first line of defense for immune support. And of course, the amalaki is what we call a rasayana, a deep, deep rejuvenative. So one of my favorite adaptogens. It was the old story was this guy Chayavan was really old and he met this young woman. He wanted to get married. So he went to the Ayurvedic doctor and said, please, please make me a formula to make me young again. And they did. And they actually wrote about that formula over 3,000 years ago. And that formula still exists today. We have an organic version of that. And the cool thing about that formula, I think, it had to be super easy to digest. Otherwise, it wouldn't have worked for this old guy. And that's what makes Chayavan-prash so good for kids and so good when we're sort of run down, because that's when our digestion goes south. So that's why Chayavan-prash is really high on my list for winter adaptogenic support. And the third one that I write about in the article associated with this video is an herb called Shilajit. Shilajit is an herb that they still sell little black packets of Shilajit when the Himalayan mountain climbers go climb Mount Everest, and they sell this black powder, and it's called asphaltum or mineral pitch, and it's an herb that's very porous, lots of what's called fulvic acids that carry other nutrients deep into the tissues. And studies have shown that it supports the health and the strength and the energy production of the mitochondria, which is the major kind of energy center of your cells. And that's some really cool, very recent research on this ancient herb. And the Himalayan mountain climbers would sell it to help the mountain climbers have more energy and handle the stress of extremely high altitude. So, and one of the things about the Shilajit is it's what's called traditionally yoga vahi. Yogavahi means that if you take a little bit of this shilajit, it helps the absorption of anything else that you take, including the foods that you eat. So it's just one of those herbs that makes everything else work better, gives you the ability to drive oxygen and nutrition into the deep tissues, which of course when we're under stress, that can possibly become depleted. So those are my 3 favorite adaptogens, the ashwagandha, the chyavanprash, and the shilajit. I wrote a lot about some of the research behind these herbs in the article associated with this video, so please check that out. Thanks for listening. I'm Dr. John Douillard.